podcast, Inspiring Ladies of Vision. This is Dr. Dolores Walker, and this is part 2 of recognizing and responding to abuse. According to the National Children's Alliance, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys are estimated to be in abuse. Many times the child's age is from birth to 5 years. It's way more prevalent in children of color. Most of the time, the abuser is someone the child knows, and many times it's a family member. The Bible says that children are a heritage from the Lord, a reward from Him. If a parent is aware of abuse and that it's going on in their home, I have found that sometimes they don't do anything about it. A lot of times people don't want to cause waves or even to confront the predator. But we must be careful and take care of our children. We need to protect our children. Even if the child is not yours and you are aware that something is going on that is abusive in that child's life, you need to do something. It affects children a lot, even into adulthood, situations they're not able to handle or deal with because of abuse as a child. Child abuse is very prevalent in this country, and we need to be aware of it and do something about it. Parents, if you know something is going on with your child and that child is being abused, whether it's difficult for you to confront it or not, we need to protect our children. How do women get into abusive situations and possibly abusive situations for their children? Why would she encourage a relationship with someone who could possibly be an abuser? A boyfriend, co-worker, friend of theirs have had for years? I have Miranda on the line. She's done some research on abuse, and she and we're going to talk about some of the reasons why women get into abusive situations. Hello, Miranda. What do you think?
Thank you, Dr. Dolores, and thank you for having me on the ILOV podcast. That is a great question, and it's one that many women may find themselves wondering about, especially when navigating new friendships. When we talk about forming friendships, it's important to remember that a healthy relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic or even a family bond, is built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. As women, we're often encouraged to be friendly, open, inclusive, but that doesn't mean we should ignore our instincts or the signs of potential harm. Sometimes it's not immediately apparent that someone might have abusive tendencies. Abusers can be very charismatic and good at hiding their true nature in the beginning stages of friendships or relationships. They often present themselves as caring, supportive, and trustworthy, making it hard to recognize red flags at first glance. So why would women encourage a friendship with someone who could possibly be an abuser? It may not be a matter of encouragement, but rather a lack of awareness of the person's true character. Sometimes we just don't know enough about the person yet, and abusers can be quite skilled at masking their harmful behaviors initially. Additionally, we need to consider the culture, the pressures in society that may influence women's decisions on maintaining or pursuing a friendship. For instance, women might feel compelled to be nicer or to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially if they're in a community or a social circle that emphasizes forgiveness and second chances. While being kind and forgiving, that is a good quality, they should never come that should never come at an expense of someone's safety or well being. This is why it's so important for women to be equipped with the knowledge and the tools to recognize early signs of abusive behavior. Building strong boundaries, trusting our instincts, and seeking counsel from trusted friends or mentors can help protect us from potential harm. Ultimately, it's not about encouraging friendships with everyone, but rather being discerning about who we let in our lives. If someone shows a sign of being controlling, manipulative, or disrespectful, it's okay to distance yourself, even cut ties for your own safety. And remember, our well being comes first. It's perfectly acceptable to prioritize relationships that uplift and support us in a healthy way. So, to any women out there that are facing this dilemma, I encourage you to listen to your gut and surround yourself with people who respect and cherish you for who you are. Friendships should always be a source of joy, comfort, and mutual respect, and never fear or uncertainty.
Very good. Thank you so much. And because we don't meet people like we used to, so much, we are a lot into using the internet to make friends and to know people better. And when you're meeting somebody online, you really don't know that person. You don't know them as well as we used to. And then everything today is like a microwave society. We want everything quick and fast. And so relationships are formed much more quickly than they used to be. There used to be time when we took time to really get to know someone and to spend time with them. If you're going in on the internet and finding someone to talk to, it's much harder for you to develop um, a close relationship with that person because you don't even see their body language many times. Here are some of the red flags to be aware of before bringing a friend into your life or into the lives of your children. Is that person easily angered? Do they blame others a lot? Are they hypersensitive? Do they have a dual personality? Some people are so friendly and wonderful and kind, and then if something strikes them wrong, they're totally different. If they have dual personalities, it's a red flag. Do they try to isolate you from your family or your friends? Are they controlling? Are they jealous, possessive, critical? Do they try to make you feel guilty, like you're the bad guy? All of these are red flags. And many times people see the red flags, but then in other times they don't see them at all. They just have a blind spot because they're, quote, in love, or they just like that person, want to be friends with that person. But red flags are usually there in friendships and relationships. And we have to be able to recognize those red flags. And if there's even one of those there, it's not a relationship that should continue on. But I found that some people, all of those may be in existence, and yet they'll pursue that relationship. Is it because they think they can change that person? I think that a lot of women feel that, that man has not really had a good chance. He's had all of these things come against him. I'm going to pray for him. I'm going to change him. But I want you to know that no one can change him but God. And if you see these red flags, why would you continue to go into that relationship? Why do you think some of them do continue to go into that relationship, Miranda, even when they may see or red flags are there and they don't want to see? Why would they continue to go into that relationship?
This is such an important question, and it's one that touches on a complex and deeply emotional topic. When we hear about someone staying in an abusive situation, whether it's a woman or her children, it's natural to wonder why they would stay. At first glance, it might seem confusing, especially if the abuse is severe and ongoing. However, there are many factors at play. that can influence a person's decision to stay in an abusive relationship. And it's crucial to approach this topic with empathy and understanding. First, it's important to recognize that abuse isn't just always about physical violence. It can also be emotional and financial, even spiritual. Abusers often use various tactics to manipulate and control their victims, creating a cycle of fear and dependency that can be incredibly difficult to break. Over time, a woman might even believe the negative things that the abuser is saying about her. She's not good enough, or that no one else would want her, or that she deserves the abuse. This psychological manipulation can make it hard for her to see a way out or believe that she has the strength to leave. There's also practical reasons why someone might stay. Financial dependency is significant. It's a factor. An abuser may control all the finances, leaving a victim without money or resources to escape. There, there may also be fear of retaliation. Abusers often threaten to harm the victim or their children or even themselves if the victim tries to leave. This fear can be paralyzing, especially if the abuser has a history of following through on threats. Another reason is social or cultural presence and pressure. In some communities, there is a stigma attached to leaving a marriage or relationship, even if it's abusive. The women may feel pressured to stay for the sake of appearance or avoid being shamed by her family, or because of religious beliefs that discourage divorce. She may also be isolated from her friends and family who could support her, making her feel like she has nowhere to turn.
That's true. That's true. Thank you for that. You know, a lot of women get into abusive relationships when they already see red flags about a person, and yet they'll bring that person into their home and into the lives of their children. A lot of women are just needy. And I've just found that some women just need to have a man in their life or someone in their life, and they feel that they just can't function well without it. And so they bring people into their lives that are not good for them. The red flags that were suggested are flags that they should be looking at and being aware of and not bringing into their home or situations. Now, a lot of times, again, when children are abused, it's somebody in the family or someone that they know well. And so it may not even be someone that you bring in as a boyfriend or as a co-worker that's coming by or someone that you've just met. It could be someone you're very close to. But regardless of who the abuser is, when they get into the home or into that situation and someone decides to stay there in that situation, I appreciate what you said about not feeling that they're worthy of anything more and that they can stay there because there's no one else for them in their lives. Now, if you bring somebody in, that's different than if it's a family member that is abusing you or someone within a close circle of friends that you see all the time that is abusing you. You have more control over that than if it is a spouse or if it's a boyfriend or somebody that's in your home. You need to recognize that regardless of who they are, where they come from, you do have a choice. And when Miranda was talking about the choice of staying, many people do choose to stay, and a lot of the reasons are the reasons that she has suggested. One of the biggest ones is fear, because they think of retaliation by the person. They know this person really well and how that person is going to respond. And so they're afraid for themselves and sometimes for their children that something's going to happen afterwards that they won't be able to cope with. And so they'll just stay. And many times they don't have any place to go. Where can I go if I leave this situation, if I leave this marriage, or if I leave my boyfriend living with me? And many times people are living with people nowadays. And many times someone's living with you that is abusive. Where can I go? What can I do? How will I take care of myself? You have Miranda had talked about no money. Sometimes the women don't have any money. It's when you have a plan, part of that plan would be to find some way to provide financing for yourself. Get a little part-time job. Sometimes abusers don't want you to have any financial control and may prevent you from doing this, but there are other ways. And then sometimes, like you say, people don't think they can do any better. This is the best I can do. This is all I'm worth. So what if I get knocked around a few times? At least I have a man in my life, and they actually believe that person loves them and that they're not worthy of anything more. I want to emphasize to you what I said to you before. Ladies, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God made you in a certain way, with certain abilities, with a certain mind, with intelligence. And so I want you to think of yourself that way. If you are in an abusive situation, recognize that you have choices. If you choose to be there, ask yourself, why am I choosing to be here? Do I just feel I don't have any place to go? Do I just feel I don't have enough money? Do I feel this is the best that life has to offer me or my children? Is this it? We need to get into a different mindset and recognize that God has a plan for our lives. And the plan for our lives is not to be abused. I want to speak especially to those who have decided to stay. I want you to look at how God has made you, how you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I want you to think about how you got into this situation with someone in your home that is abusing you, how you missed all those red flags with your blind spot of, I'm in love with him, or I know he'll change. Look at it, analyze it, and then recognize there's a better way. No one should be in a situation where they are constantly abused, whether it's physical or whether it's emotional, or sometimes people just put people down all the time, make you feel bad about yourself. You shouldn't be in that type of situation. And guess what? There are resources available to you to help you to move on with your life. Resources are available. And Miranda, tell us some of those resources that are available for people who have decided just to stay there or who truly want to go ahead and get out of the situation but don't know how to do it. Let us know. Tell us, what are some of those resources, Miranda?
Thank you. No one deserves to be abused, and everyone deserves to live a life free of fear and harm. If you or someone you know is in an abusive situation, please reach out to a trusted friend, a family member, or a local support organization for help. Your safety and well being, that is the most important thing. And there are people who care and want to help you. I just want to mention that there are hundreds of local shelters across the United States that provide safety, counseling, legal help, and other resources for victims and their children. So if you're in danger of violence, please, if it's safe to do so, call 911. Otherwise, call the National Domestic Violence number is 1-800-799-7233. Again, it's 1-800-799-7233. Thank you. Stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you so much, Miranda. Now, if you choose to leave an abusive situation, remember to have a plan. Abigail in 1 Samuel 25 was married to a mean, evil man. She knew the right time to confront her husband. So she waited until he wasn't drunk to tell him about how she had saved her community. She knew he would be angry. She waited, and when she told him, he was so upset, his heart failed him. God removed her from that situation, and he will remove you from yours. Pray. Ask God for the right timing. Prepare a plan. Ask the Lord to help you. I want you to hear and remember Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. You can do this. You can do this. I want to hear from you. My email address is drdoloreswalker@gmail.com. It's DRDoloresWalker@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. I want your opinions. I want your questions, and I want your suggestions, even for issues that we talk about on this podcast. So I hope you have learned something from what we've tried to share with you today. This is Dolores Walker, and this is I Love You Podcast, Inspiring Ladies of Vision. I hope you will come back and see us next time. In the meantime, go forward with your life. God has a plan. Blessings. See you next